Hi, my name is Edward Kurczewski and I've been working in 2D traditional animation for over 10 years and have contributed to projects like Scavenger's Reign, Primal, Flea, and Tales of Alatreon. Working in animation has been my dream as long as I can remember. I've always wanted to create worlds and bring characters to life. The first challenge I faced was, where do I start? Where I can learn this? I noticed that many others has the same questions. After getting my 2 master degrees in animation and earning experience in professional industry, I've decided to share my knowledge with you. That's why I created Animation Club.School. Our school is a team of working animators who act like a bridge between students and the industry. We realize that many students struggle to build high professional skills required to secure their job in the industry. So we designed our courses to help you develop an outstanding portfolio. At the moment, we primarily focus on 2D animation. It's where we have the most expertise and it's my personal passion. We want to see more people thrive in this art form. Each course is carefully designed to deliver knowledge while honing practical skills through hands-on tasks. The curriculum builds gradually over several levels, enabling students to master the program step by step. We aim to help students understand complexity of 2D animation, assess difficulty of the tasks realistically, and set achievable goals to their growth. Our primary focus is on developing animation skills to meet industry standard. While drawing skills are essential, we leave their development to each student individually. However, we encourage outside art study and even offer free drawing sessions in our Discord. Currently, we offer over 12 different courses and we continually adding new professional programs to meet industry demands. But that's not all. Here's what else we offer. Weekly videos that dive into different aspects of animation industry, free monthly masterclass live streams with a mentor, short tutorials across all our social media platforms, an active Discord community where you can connect to passionate creatives from around the world. If you like what you've heard so far, follow us on our social media and check out our courses on our website. I can't wait to see what you create with us.
Hello, 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 hello. Hopefully you can hear me well and you can hear me louder than the music is picking up right now. My name is Kata. This is Animation Club School, as you probably figured out. I already see some familiar faces. Welcome, welcome. Let me actually go immediately into this shot so you have something fun to watch. Those who have been subscribed to my Instagram have already seen me posting it, but for everyone else, there's gonna be something new to watch. So today, per very passionate request, I wanted to talk a little bit more about how to use Clip Studio Paint when you're animating, share stuff that I do, my tips and tricks, and in general, how to, familiarize yourself with the software. Before we go there though, I have to roll a little bit back and talk a little bit more about the other stuff we do in our hub network on our Discord server, basically. I not only do Loop-de-Loop and Community Spotlight, where we invite a student and chat about their life and art journey and maybe tips they have to share, but we also do practices. We do film and figure drawing practice, so recently, me and a couple more people whose work you can watch also on Discord have been drawing Boys Go to Jupiter, which is a full feature animated film from 2024, which looks very, very weird, and I probably will watch it due to how pretty it is. So we do these studies to train our composition, our colors, our values, and just be able to, churn out these pictures more efficiently than we would otherwise. And of course, we do figure drawing studies. So we go and do very fast studies from 1 minute to 10 minutes. It's about 20 pictures. This is kind of the final version when I put everything together. We draw figures for 10, 5, 3, and 1 minute. which also is very important when you're animating. It's very important to have very good draftsmanship skills. The quicker you draw the pose, the quicker you get to the final product. So knowing anatomy really helps you build all those skills in the long run, and also understand. Oh, I see some people joining already on the Discord. Hello. Not sure if this is related, but if it is, what do you call it? I want to say balsamic on my soul, but there's probably a better way to say it. Yeah, so the quicker you do it, the better you have the final result, the more you understand perspective, the more you're able to kind of work with stuff with less preparation. And of course, 1-minute drawings, they don't have to be pretty, they just have to be out, and eventually you'll get more and more comfortable. Welcome to your Misu Dog, welcome as Animates. My Instagram name is the same. I don't know if you could see it in my... I can't say anything because my previews are too small. Let me see. You can't see it. Yeah, I had it on the other screen before we had the previous design, the old one. I will write my name not right now because I can't edit the text, but I can certainly pitch it somewhere else or share a drawing I have. So with this out of the way, me plugging all of the stuff I do, plus I track how many people join me. So the more join me, the better it is. I'm gonna talk more about how to animate stuff in Clip Studio Paint. This is granted with a little bit of like in software compositing, which is a little bit wonky and takes like a lot of, what's the opposite of a shortcut? A long cut, a long route to get to some kind of desired outcome. But it's still fun to experiment in the program kind of nonetheless. So a little bit more about me and how I got into Clip Studio Paint. I got the stuff I'm working on, an iPad, in I think around late 2021. And at first I started Procreate, but Procreate did not work with me. It was a very one-sided relationship. We weren't really vibing with each other. So I decided to look around and see what other programs there are. And turns out my old pal Manga Studio, which I used to draw when it was still called Manga Studio, has rebranded themselves in Clip Studio Paint. And turns out, as I recently found out, is one of the most popular animating software in Japanese industries. So people who want to draw anime, you're very welcome to find out more about Clip Studio Paint, how it works. So you'll be a little bit more familiar with the pipeline of this industry as is. And yeah, let me actually start from the beginning. I have a couple of more animations that we can clean up, draw while I answer some questions, but also I've prepared a little kind of cheat sheet for myself, so I'll stay on track. And everything I didn't get to talk about, you can just ask me, and of course, I'll be happy to answer, of course, to the best of my ability. I like to joke that Clip Studio Paint has been, only 2% of Clip Studio Paint has actually been discovered by the users. So there are probably a lot of people who do stuff a lot more efficiently than me, but here we are, people asked, I deliver. So first, if you wanna start an animation folder, maybe even if we track back a little bit more, I'm using the version Clip Studio Paint X, X specifically, mainly because there's a Pro version, but Pro only allows you to have 24 frames, which if you're working on actual productions, not gonna cut it. Most of the time, your shots were gonna be at least a bit more than 1 second. Usually what I've seen, it's either from 2 to 5 seconds. I had some longer shots for like about 10 seconds, but they had some loops in it. So it was still not an incredible amount of frames. And to start, you go to File. Oh, actually, let me pull out my pen. You go to File and New, and there's other options you can take because Clip Studio is good for webcomics, comics. You can also, I think, make like straight up books. I don't know how it works. These 4 panels are a mystery to me. I've never opened them once. I usually either use a straight up project for illustrating and sketching, and of course an animation folder to do my animated stuff. You can change the name, obviously. You can also choose a specific preset you like to use. You can also save your specific presets if you're drawing in a specific style. For example, there was a while last year, I think last year or like a year and a half before this day, I was drawing a specific animation that required a very big frame. It was vertical, and I also needed extra DPI, like not DPI, like pixel, DPI probably, to be able to composite everything well. So I had a specific preset that I saved. And the most often one I use either is the normal 1920 by 1080, or I do TikTok, which is the same thing, but the height and width are reversed. There's stuff you can do with the animation specifically. If you go a little bit lower, you can probably, yeah, you can see it this way. You're able to see animation frame settings. It gives you overflow frames and tile safe areas. If you see on animation, there's a specific box right here. There we go, right here. When you export your final product, the animation, stuff over here is not gonna be visible. Mainly, it's very useful for animators to be able to have some extra space in case your character is moving their whole body and you want to track it better, or if it's walking, or some more stuff where the character goes like in the frame and out of the frame as well. Plus, it makes it pretty convenient when you have to paint something over and you don't have to, you know, be right there on the edge when you're coloring your animation. Convenient. And of course, if there's a chance, that actually happened to me pretty recently. I was exporting like a storyboard of a little project I was making, and I drew a lot of important stuff outside of the borders, and I couldn't figure out what to do. So for everyone who might be wondering, you can also remove and change, obviously, these folders by going to Edit, Canvas Properties, and then you have your width, your height, resolution, and then you can change your animation frame settings. You can also delete your frame lines, and there you go, and can add them back. Ooh, I'm not gonna do that. So there you go. Now everything that you're gonna export as a movie is gonna be exported as one picture. But what's interesting, what I also discovered, is when you export to photo library, because I'm working on an iPad, I have some like other functions in the software. It exports it with the border. It removes the blue thing, but it exports the whole frame. So just in case for anyone who's wondering, how does it work? Then the next thing, now I'm adding silly pictures because I thought just staring at the blank screen would be a little bit boring, and I see people are falling off eventually, but those who want to see it, they will stay. Is the timeline. So you don't have to create your project as an animation file from the get-go. It could be just like this. I started initially with this drawing. Well, actually, I started by watching reels for a really abhorrent amount of time. And I saw this little boy, which I'm not gonna show more because, well, I mean, he's been posted on Reels, so. And I drew this little picture and I thought, ooh, how cool would it be to spend a couple of hours to animate some, you know, wind going through the picture. So for that, I basically went to the animation. There's a little window on the bottom that you obviously can't see. Give me a second. There it is. Huge. Which is called the timeline. Not every file has it right away, so let's go with the usual one. We have a picture. Then we see the timeline is fully empty. We can't do anything in it. Even if we add an animation folder, it can register any images, but I think you can still draw in it. Yeah. and all of them are gonna be visible at the same time. So to add the timeline, you go right here. So there's just the timeline box that allows you to edit the timeline, and there's a little icon with the little plus drawn on top of it. And there it is. You can change the name of the timeline in case you want to have two. I've never done it. If you do it and you try it, you can obviously tell me how it goes. As I said, Clip Studio has been discovered only for like 5%. So you can change your frame rate, your playback time, which means how many seconds you have in your animation. Some people like to keep it short. Since I started drawing and animating Clip Studio since 2022, I like to keep it as long as possible. Mainly because now Clip Studio became much more comfortable. But before, when you started, you couldn't copy frames normally. You couldn't, if you had like an animation and all of the files were a lot shorter, for example, for 3 seconds, and you wanted your animation to be for 6, you send the timeline and the rest of the frames were still in that like 3-second timeline. So you had to manually drag the tail of each and every one of them, which doesn't happen now. So it's much more comfortable, but I like to keep it at like 12 seconds. I can always chop it down if I'd like. Obviously you can name your scenes, your shots, and anything you might need. Here, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm actually gonna close it. And yeah, this looks very scary, but it's less scary once you see that I'm just copying and pasting some layers here. So from a little picture, let me see. Is there anything else I should talk about here? Maybe there's, bye-bye Tiramisu Dog. Hopefully we'll get to see you on another stream. You can actually do some more stuff with your timeline to make it more convenient, inconvenient, depending what kind of environment you want to set up for your success. So here we have thumbnail size, which you can also change. Before I had, I'd say like the largest size, which sometimes is convenient, but most of the time is very cumbersome because you can imagine. Let me go to this one and you'll see what I mean. See? Just a bunch of pictures of the same thing, which gets pretty uncomfortable in a while. So I like to keep it either on the smallest, which is a very small picture, or at none at all to compress the space as much as possible. But to keep no, we'll get to that later. So that one thing you can do. You can also add different names and labels for your frames and for your timelines, which sometimes I encounter in professional work, but when I'm doing something for myself, I never use it because I wouldn't say it's pretty complicated, but it's just extra bloat you don't need if you're the only brain working on it. You can just note that for yourself. But let me see if I can. Yeah. You go to animation, you go to label, and for example, I'm working on animation and I want for the person who's going to be working after it, know that what is happening. So for example, the person is breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And for example, the key drawings are not enough. You go to animation, label, and you create, for example, a timeline labor. And I go, and let me see, poop, because I'm very smart. And there you go. You have the word poop in your timeline as a big and powerful professional animator. And of course, it's an action, so you can make it appear or disappear, and obviously you can delete it later. And I think, yeah, you can also change the size. I'm not sure how, since I practically never do it, but I know it exists. You know it exists. You can try it out later. So that's, I think, everything about the timeline. Obviously, Right now, timeline became much more simpler to use. So now you can just easily drag as many frames as you'd like. Can you even see it? You can barely see it. I'm so sorry. You can drag your timeline, and also before, when I started, a lot of the stuff weren't as intuitive and you had to have some workarounds. I'll get to the vector lines later as animates. It's not pure vector, not like Illustrator or CorelDRAW if it activates some sleeper agents, but it's still very useful. Clip Studio on the iPad, I can answer now. Last year, I bought it in February, so I just recently renewed my subscription. Last year, it was about like $68, and this year it was, I think, like around 70 something. The thing is, I'm buying it in a very, I would say, unfortunate time to buy a Clip Studio Paint subscription, mainly because they have a lot of discounts around holidays. So I'm buying for full price, but you can probably get a better deal. And it's obviously for Clip Studio Paint X. That's the most expensive version. So if you're using it to draw, or just you want to check out kind of the basic functions and 1 second is going to be enough for you, then you can easily go for a Pro, or I think, no, Debut doesn't have it. But as I said, plenty of options. But yeah, about $70 a year. Thankfully, I can easily cover it with kind of my income, so it's not that big of a problem. What else? Yeah, you can also set your shortcuts and stuff like quick actions to make your Clip Studio experience as customizable as possible. I'm not gonna go into the shortcuts a lot, mainly because I don't have buttons to press. But I have a very interesting device. Not a device, an app, which is called Clip Studio Tab Mate. I use it once in a blue moon, I think. Let me find it. Yeah, it's offloaded. Well, it's gonna take a little while to load, but I'll show you how to do it. But you can also set up any kind of keyboard that's attached to the iPad and use it that way. You can set your shortcuts in File, I think, no, Edit. No. Yes. Before File, before Edit, Animation, Story, all of the other stuff, you can also click on the logo in the left top corner. Ooh. Wrong pipe. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to cough really bad and I didn't want you to witness it. So, there are shortcut settings. You can click over here and basically you can choose different stuff you can bind to the shortcuts. Interesting how so many concurrent viewers came right when I had to cough. I should cough more often. And you can set any kind of commands you'd like into your buttons. So instead of going through 4 clicks of looking into a menu, clicking it again, you just have one button, you press it, it works. I don't have buttons, so I don't set my shortcuts here. I had a license on my computer for a little while, and there was much more useful, mainly because my tablet has a bunch of buttons, so I've set it up to be very convenient. First, it would go to previous, next cell. I actually have it over here. I'll talk about quick access a little bit later, because it works like a little similar, a little different, but you can also jump around. So you won't have to drag it manually if it's not convenient. And one more important is, for example, stuff like rotation and resetting your rotation, so you wouldn't have to go back and forth with the mouse. Here I have the advantage of using my fingers to do all of those like crazy turns to make anyone seasick. But if you don't have the opportunity to work with your touchscreen, then it is the way for you. And then, yeah, one of the biggest things I think that Clip Studio Paint does amazingly, especially if you're working in cleanup, like all of the stuff to make the animation, the final kind of animation look, is the folders in your animation. So in stuff, well, I primarily worked in like Adobe Animate, Macromedia Flash actually, and what do you call it? And TV Paint, they don't have that, which I think Clip Studio is like one specific advantage it's giving to its users. So, for example, you start an animation folder, and you want, let's actually, I wonder if I have it here. No. Well, you don't always use it, but I'll make an example right now. You can see the side of my screen. Yep. Now this is the best you're getting because I have to cut it for the screen. You create a new animation layer. It's here in the timeline, right? You can see me using my mouse right here. And instead of creating a new frame, which is a button, why? Okay. And instead of pressing this button, you just create a folder. And now inside of that folder, you can use as many frames as you want. I can have like a blue color, I can have a brown color, I can have a red color, and all of these can be toggled and used independently. And of course, they will work together as well. And of course, you not only have the ability to have your raster layers in, but also your vector layers. And I find vector layers magnificent. Once someone opened the knowledge of vector layers to me, I wasn't the same person since. So we have this picture of me being excited over vector layers. Let me change the opacity and show you how vector layers work. For the vector layers to start working, you need to click, maybe we can go from here. Yeah. You go to new layer, vector layer, or just press one button. I just don't know if you can see it or not. It's right here. And now all of your brushes, all of your tools have been vectorified. So I have my favorite brush for cleanup. And for example, I drew this face. Looks pretty good, but look what happens. What? Oh. You can change it with transform tools, or if you want to go more in depth, there's a specific tool that allows you to change any point that Clip Studio registers. You can also scale your drawings. So for example, let's take this one again, and I'll go with, instead of free transform, you can go scale and rotate. And you can make the eyes really, really big. There we go. There's also a function to be able to change the size of your, what do you call it, stroke, depending on how much you transform it. I like to keep it the same, mainly because a lot of the times I'm doing very minor fixes and to not lose that crispy quality. Also, sometimes you want to change a whole thing about the layers. For example, you send your animation, you send your cleanup, and the supervisor goes, you gotta make it a couple of pixels smaller. If you're working in raster, this. Like, you have to just manually go and like either clean it or do it from the start with, what do you call it? Clip Studio Chad. You just go, click, select object. You click the frame you wanna work on. And here in the tool settings, you have the brush size. Bam. I'm gonna show it closer. Bang, 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 bang. And you can go as small or as wide as you'd like it to be. Very easy, very nice. And of course, if you'd like, you can also change the brush shapes. I didn't find it as useful as the other functions, mainly because you can pick, for example, I picked my pencil and I want to go with a very wild brush like this one for some reason. And unfortunately, I'm not able to do it. But I'm able to change the general texture. So for example, we have chalk. We can go zigzaggy, which is also making some very wild results. Dash line, basically anything you'd wish you can do. So super, super convenient. Oh, and also there's one more thing I wanted to show you about vector layers and why they're absolutely superior when you're cleaning something up. For example, I have, let's say 1, 2, and I have like a dash that happened accidentally. Oh no, if I'm in a raster layer, I have to manually clean it out. But with vector, you go to vector eraser, you click the option in the middle, I don't know what they're called, and you go bam, bam, bam. If you want it to end on a specific place, or if you want to completely remove it, you remove the thing. No more. Which is very, very convenient when you have like a bunch of strokes and sometimes you want your line to be more confident, to like make a broader, quicker gesture, and sometimes you go over the other lines. No problem. Eraser, middle option, and there you go. Perfect cut. Which you can also, if you click all of them together, you can scale together and they will not break apart. Also incredible. Just vector layers. I love you so much. So this was the folders as frames, vector, raster, and obviously you can import images. I'm not going to do that because I don't remember what's in my gallery to not show anything I'm not allowed to show yet because I'm working on this device. But you can set also import images into these folders and have them as references. Or what I also like to do, I don't remember what kind of picture I had in the thing. Well, you'll have to excuse me. Yeah. Whoa, this is a guy. So sometimes when you reference stuff, you can also create a window subview to have a reference on hand. And you can also, what's the best part? You can color pick from that subview and immediately draw it. Here's black. Then we go pick yellow. No, wait, what? Oh. Huh. I thought it would work differently. It is what it is. So many ways to set up very convenient references for yourself to work with. What's next? Oh, as I wanted to talk, auto actions and quick access things. Also incredibly convenient, especially if you don't have any buttons and you're working on the iPad. Auto actions and quick access are incredibly easy to set up. You're basically like programming your interface and do like specific actions or buttons. So 5, 6, 10 clicks, for example, are getting reduced to just 1 click of you pressing play. Auto actions are done very simple. It's again Windows and auto action here in the bottom. Here it is. And some of these have been already outdated. Some I set up for a specific pipeline where I need to do a lot of specific stuff. And some of them I still use to this day. For example, I had one obsolete, but I like to keep it because it was an incredible find of mine. I don't know if someone helped me or eventually I kind of managed to reverse engineer it myself, because there's a couple of people who also shared this trick, which is called copy frame. Back 4 years ago, when I started working, the biggest hurdle for me in managing Clip Studio Paint was that when I copy a frame, like I do in TV Paint, Macromedia Flash, it would just copy the frame and I've been able to edit it all over. Here, for example, you have, let's say this number 6. No, it's frame number 5. I go to another place and I want to have that number 5 layer again. So I have number 5 over here. I have number 5 over here. So what happens? I want to add a cute little blush, but only on this one. I add the blush. But what happened here? The blush remained, and that's a problem when you want to have a specific loop, a movement working in the bigger animation. So before, you can do anything. It was very hard, you need to copy and paste and stuff. So I managed to create a copy frame auto action. You create the auto actions by basically creating, like clicking a little blip over here. You name your action test, for example. Yes. You click and then you press the red record button. So here I would create like a new frame, then I would delete the frame, and then I don't know, I would do something else. You press the red square to stop the recording, literally like you do on the camera. And then after, when you need to use it, you just click play. Here nothing happens, but we know that there was the layer that we got deleted. And you can use it for any kind of stuff you'd want to use. Yes. So copy frame worked like this. It created a new animation cell, it deleted it, it duplicated the layer I wanted to use, and it renamed it in the timeline, which is also very convenient when you have a bunch of frames and you're working from pose to pose, because if you're in the timeline when you're working with Clip Studio layers, every frame has a specific name and they usually go by numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I'm creating a new frame between 1 and 2, it will create 1A, 1B, 1C, and then 1A layer 1, 1A layer 2, which gets complicated so much. So having an action that basically renames everything according to their timeline placements, super, super convenient. Now I think you just have to click duplicate on your layer and it just creates a new one in the timeline. But back then, layers, specifically the ones you draw on and they're placed in the timeline, weren't tied to each other that much, and you can actually turn it off if you'd like. I think it's in animation, timeline, no, I don't remember where it was, but I think it's more convenient when you have them tied together. It creates more problems and makes it less intuitive when they're not connected to each other. So basically you can set anything you'd like. For example, I have this selection pick and then select and fill. And it fills everything but that selection, which is also pretty convenient. And you can see all of the stuff I did before. For example, these 2 dots would have cost me 1, 2, 3, 4. Even more, because expand select area would also take a couple of more clicks. And then, yeah, So about like 6 clicks, bam, to 1. If you have like 20 layers you need to fix, the number of clicks goes exponentially, and the more you can cut, like the more fat you can cut from the pipeline, the better. The more easier your life gets. And quick actions. Quick actions are also super convenient. It's basically the same thing as auto actions, but here you can just put specific things you'd find deep in the menus right there up front. So for me, it's import from photo library. I have a reference, I need to put it in the image. I won't have to go file, import, photo library. Do you see the line of stuff I have to click? Here, bam, one button, it's already in the file. Then I have onion skin settings, which is also pretty useful. Allows you to change the color of your onion skin, how many frames of the onion skin you see, and what is the difference between the opacity of the onion skin layers the further you go from the frame you're drawing. Then I have obviously rename in timeline order, which allows me to reset all of the names. It is very convenient, especially when you're working with files like this, which are huge. And having everything named correctly allows me to just have a better control over my image. What else? Gaussian blur, mainly because I won't have to click several extra buttons. That's the main takeaway here. Click less, work more. Symmetrical tool, to be able to do stuff with symmetrical stuff. Mesh transformation, which for some reason isn't possible to find very quickly on your toolset, so I have it here. Allows for more precise transformations. Now there's even a thing called puppet warp, which is also very convenient, but I find it a little bit too invasive. Sometimes I just need an edge of like a little drawing to be fixed to fit well. I don't need the whole thing and setting up pins and stuff. Then I have, obviously one of the most important ones is flipping. You need to flip one of the kind of main, what do you call it? 10 commandments. One of the main commandments of kind of animation and drawing in general I've learned is everyone sees your drawing as the flipped version of it. So you better flip, otherwise you're gonna meet some heartbreaks. And of course, delete frame, mainly because on the iPad, if you go, you click, you can't just long click on it to delete it. You need to use your finger, go here, and then click delete. Or obviously now you can just do this, but before it was less convenient, and sometimes I don't want to change my finger or something, and I have a big button right here. And of course, select previous and select next cell. If there's a specific action you want me to go deeper into, like where to find it, I'll also be able to answer that with some precautions, because I said these a long time ago and I don't quite remember where they are, but this one is very convenient because you don't have to drag it on the timeline. And sometimes your keys are so far apart, they just don't fit on the timeline as much as you wanted. What else? Yeah, I think, yeah, I talked about everything in the auto actions and quick access. And also, since we started talking about Clip Studio TabMate, if you have a phone, if you have a place like an iPad, you can set up a little Clip Studio TabMate Clip Studio, which will allow you to take all of your quick actions and put it on your phone. So let's go here. Ba-ba. Reloading, loading. No, I don't remember how to do it. I promise I'll do it sometime later, maybe in part 2, but I rarely get to use it. I have everything like pretty compact. But for a time, it was a fun gimmick to try around. Mainly have some troubles with logging in, choosing what kind of plan I need and stuff. So between you and me, it does exist, but I don't use it as much. But that's only because that's me. There's a bunch of people who really like using it, and it really speeds up the workflow. Folder and layer colors. One of the most comfortable also parts of using Clip Studio Paint is that you can color your layers. Like right here, you can see that I have a red and now a yellow layer that easily allows me to differentiate on what layer I'm animating and what layer is the background. Plus, when you don't have the thumbnails, it's very convenient to kind of have it there. And another thing that I really like to use, let's actually go to, was it a long time ago? Not that long. Let's go to our cleanup layer over here. For example, especially when you're cleaning out animation, you've probably seen those like stuff from like Genga, where they have these like red, blue lines filled with yellow color and blue color. That's usually shown to differentiate where's the highlight, where's the low light, and to make it more convenient for yourself. I like to set up a specific folder hierarchy, I'd say. I'd name every layer, for example, line. Then we'd have highlight. I put it under the line. And then we have shadow. And for example, shadow would be, oh, I apologize. Shadow would be like this. Highlight would be somewhere around here. And obviously I would use normal raster layers to paint the filling parts in. So let's do that as well. Shadow, I would use like a blue. You can pick any colors you want. As long as you understand what's going on and the other people who are going to be finishing your animation will understand what's going on. You can customize it to your heart's desire. So here, for example, is like a colored eye for the cleanup. And have you ever had that thing happen to you? You're drawing on a layer, you're drawing, you're making some edits, and then you realize you've been drawing on the wrong layer this whole time. And for example, if you have multiple vector layers and you put them all together, it becomes a real mess when you need to export it and composite it, because all of those lines that you would need to have deleted are in the final product. To avoid it, there's a very useful tool that you can see here. I'll have to move my stuff a little bit. There we go. Under the colors over here, we have our layer tab. And do you see those two little boxes right there? That's one of the most convenient tools I've actually found. And I didn't find it, people introduced me to it, but you know what I mean. In Clip Studio Paint, mainly because when you have to deal with a lot of layers and a lot of lines, you want to be able to immediately tell where you're drawing. So to do that, you click on these two buttons. Did you see what happened? Your whole layer color just changed. So I don't know what the specific tool is called, but it allows you to recolor your full layer into 1 or 2 tones. So for example here, since it's the line layer, I want to keep it completely black. So I have subcolor, main color. Now everything, if you see, I'm choosing a very bright blue color. When I draw on the layer, it's completely black. And you can do the same things with the shadow. You go pick the blue, You can pick from your color history as well, or from your color sets. Now everything you draw on the shadow, as you can see I'm picking a yellow color to demonstrate, is blue. You can always turn it off and see the kind of the true colors you've set, just to be sure. And then you can do the same with the highlights. Setting red, setting red. And now everything you draw on this layer, no matter what color you chose, is gonna be red. What's the best part about it is that you don't have to set it every time you create a new folder. Basically, I need to create a new frame with the same hierarchy. I want to have the line, the shadow, the highlight layer all together. I see a new space. To create it, I click New Layer, and it copies the folder, the hierarchy of the layers, so line, shadow, highlight, and all of the color frames. And also it saves the settings I had for my colors, which is absolutely amazing. If you want to go even further, you could, for example, I had that happen to me once. I was cleaning up a tie down, which had on one layer all of the colors together, and I wanted to see just the, what do you call them? Just the lines, nothing else. So it was like a specific like black line. I needed to have it separated from everything else. So I went and created a new correction layer, which is over here. And I took gradient map. And I think I went and did, oh, you can't see it. Give me a second. There we go. And you basically push it till the moment where you can only see the black lines. So when you turn it off, you can see everything else. And when you turn it on, the only thing that appears is gonna be the black lines, which was insanely useful. I kind of found out that trick myself. Obviously, if you make your background a little darker, white lines will appear. For some reason, the paper decided to not work with me. Thoughts? And because it's for the full thing, obviously. There we go. You will be able to see the white lines. But when you're working on a completely white paper, it really helps you track and just be more aware of all of the nuances like the main layer has without the bloat of all of the other colors affecting it. Oh no, I want to delete the whole layer. There we go. So this was a little bit more about folder and layer colors. Oh, more layer colors. But with folders as well, you can set the colors for your folders and for the specific layers as well. So for example, here, line, shadow, all of this stuff. You can also pick anything you might need to also differentiate when you're working with them. And it's convenient when you have 300,000 layers. You have an animation that's like 10 seconds. You have multiple characters. All of the characters have all highlights, shadows. There would be special colors you need to put in. It's like the colors when you have like an animation like character, and some colors change because of the main line art, and some stuff like the whites of the eye, they don't have like a special what do you call it, line art in between them. You just need to have like a different blob of color inside. You also need like a special layer for it. So it really, really, really helps you make everything neat and tidy. What else? How I do in rough, my roughs and my cleans, I already showed you for the most part. But again, I use just one brush. As you can see, there's like a lot of different brushes. But for animation, I use a standard Milli pen that I modified a little bit to make it more fun for myself. And I do all of my roughs with this brush, either in normal or in multiply, because I like when stuff changes when I draw. And also, if you pick like a very light color, it looks like you're using markers, which also kind of gives a nice edge to work with. And obviously with my cleans, I use the Milli pen that is smaller, has more smoothing, and allows me to have more precise lines. And I do it the same way as I showed you with the special layers. I set up the colors, I set up the folder, the layer colors, and that's how I clean. And what else? There's also one more thing. We've been going for an hour, so I think I'll be closing up rather soon, is the animation cells. I don't use them that much. Only when I need to track something really specific. I had that animation on last loop-de-loop with Sigil. Sigil is my D&D character, where they turn around and they kind of open their hood. And there were like several keyframes. I need to keep track of the volumes and stuff. And it was very convenient to use animation cells because they're more, I'd say a little bit more complicated than Onion Skin. Onion Skin is just going to be showing you stuff before and after. But if you need a specific frame to track what's going on, it's better to use an animation cell. Let's go, for example, let's go here. Oh, as you can see, bad naming conventions, bad. So you click one button and it's all cleaned out. Super convenient. For example, I have this exploding bug and I want to make a specific copy here, but I want to reference the frame from the end of the animation. So I open up my folder. I have this number 6, which also has some symmetry. I go to my frame number 1 and I drag my frame number 6. I'll drag it in 1. Okay, it did work when I was off camera, but you can basically drag animation layers. Let me try it again. Nah! Oh, annoying. Oh, it worked! So now as you can see, there's the ghost of the image under, well, I chose 5, which you can change the opacity. You can change the colors. For example, the same thing. You can choose monochrome and change the layer color to anything you wish. So you'd have an easier time tracking it together. And it works simultaneously with Onion Skin. So as you see, I have the next frame, which is red. And I have another frame, which you can also move out of peg, as you can say, from number 5. Which makes stuff where you have complicated movements, a lot of keys, a lot more convenient. But it's a tool kind of I forget how to use it. I learn how to use it. I use it. I forget how to use it. So every time I come back to it, usually something has been improved in the meantime. And yeah, I think overall, this is all of the stuff I use when I animate. Let me go back to the pretty study I had. Let me actually take away this. So this is just the animation files on their own. So here we can go a little bit in depth on how I did this together, and actually I'll tell you a little bit like a fun story of how I composited. If you have any questions about Clip Studio Paint, this is the best time to ask because there's a delay on the stream, and also because we're gonna close after I tell this little funny story and answer any questions you might have. So initially I started this animation with, let me see, yeah, with this little picture. I chose elements that are going to be static. I chose the elements that are going to be more dynamic, moving, you might say. And I did them on separate layers. So here we have the hair, here we have the cloak. And it looked like this. Yes, Jay, welcome. But I'm finishing soon, but you can just, welcome, it did. You can click back and watch through it. So I created this loop with the cloth and with the hair. I rummaged a bit with the timelines to make it feel like there's a gust of wind pulling through the cape and then takes the hair up. From there, I painted all of the stuff that are going to be under the dynamic parts of the image. And a little bit more, just so it'll be like a safe zone. And afterwards, I colored it. It was by no means easy. In some places, mainly because I had a bunch of these like little holes. I had to figure out how to fill and also not go crazy. And then I created the back layer for the stuff that goes under the body. So now it looks like this. And then on top, I decided to color some of my frames line art to make it look a little bit more special, you'd say. Thank you, I appreciate it. And from there I thought, ooh, this would be cool to try to composite inside. It's not, as soon as I started using Clip Studio Paint, I started, let's see, is this the one? I think it's gonna like blast my iPad into, yep. This was one of the first animations I actually did on Clip Studio Paint. As you can see by the load times, it just has a lot going on. So I really like the idea of compositing here as well, but because of some certain limitations, we haven't gone to the point where it's actually convenient to do so. But if you have an easy enough animation, you can still do pretty good stuff here. Mainly because there's stuff like 2D cameras, which you can use to drag around the screen. And also you can set some of your elements with these, like, what do you call it? Graphs, yeah. Which allows you for smooth motion basically generated by the program. And I decided I wanted to go from this to this. And as you can see, if I come closer, you see there are like TV artifacts of sorts on the character, which makes it look like an old animation where they had like very limited stuff they wanted to change. So the stuff that wasn't moving, it wasn't moving, and they repainted the objects that were basically interactable, animated on the screen. But this took me too long, I have to say. Mainly because a lot of the actions, I found this very cool action set called Retro Effects, which basically makes your animation look like a retro anime image. But the problem is it was designed only for illustrations and not animation specifically. So I had to take each frame already pre-painted together, copy it, put it on a new file with the same size, so it would stay in the same place, run the effects, copy it again, and then put it back into the original file so it looks like this. Which took me a lot of time, but I really like the result. I really like these little burns it has. Especially here, you can probably see it in the bleeding of the colors. But yeah, not for the weak, not for the impatient. So I think overall, let me hide so we can see the beautiful animation again. Overall, I think this is it. I showed pretty much everything I know animation wise. I didn't touch stuff on like tools or like layer effects and stuff like that because it's not really relevant to the picture. Especially when I animate, I try to keep it pretty simple, kind of just to make it work first. And then you can add the embellishments. But yeah, I think you can also see how I animate in the previous loop-de-loops, which I do with Clip Studio Paint. If you have any questions here right now, you can ask them. I won't answer them already because I'll be going, but you can always go to the Discord. Let me actually plug the Discord again because we also do a bunch of fun practices on there. We draw screenshots from films and maybe shows eventually. And on Sundays, we do figure drawing studies, which are very important if you want to animate and be an animator. The quicker you draw, kind of the less time it takes to get to a better result. So yeah, this was Kata. This was Animation Club School. Thank you for joining me again, for chatting, asking questions. I was very happy to show how I work in the software. And yeah, hopefully I'll get to see you both on the practices and the classes. Actually, before we go, there's about, I think, 10 days before the discount ends, like the early birds for the next school course. So just giving a friendly warning that it's gonna end soon. So if you want to grab a discount, if you're gonna study courses, this is the best time to do so because, you know, two birds, one stone, being kind of financially wise and also building your future. What could be better? Thank you for being here today. And yeah, see you soon, sometime, maybe. Bye bye.
Hi, my name is Edward Kurczewski and I've been working in 2D traditional animation for over 10 years and have contributed to projects like Scavenger's Reign, Primal, Flea, and Tales of Alatreon. Working in animation has been my dream as long as I can remember. I've always wanted to create worlds and bring characters to life. The first challenge I faced was, where do I start? Where I can learn this? I noticed that many others has the same questions. After getting my 2 master degrees in animation and earning experience in professional industry, I've decided to share my knowledge with you. That's why I created AnimationClub.School. Our school is a team of working animators who act like a bridge between students and the industry. We realize that many students struggle to build high professional skills required to secure their job in the industry. So we designed our courses to help you develop an outstanding portfolio. At the moment, we primarily focus on 2D animation. It's where we have the most expertise and it's my personal passion. We want to see more people thrive in this art form. Each course is carefully designed to deliver knowledge while honing practical skills through hands-on tasks. The curriculum builds gradually over several levels, enabling students to master the program step by step. We aim to help students understand complexity of 2D animation, assess difficulty of the tasks realistically, and set achievable goals to their growth. Our primary focus is on developing animation skills to meet industry standard. While drawing skills are essential, we leave their development to each student individually. However, we encourage outside art study and even offer free drawing sessions in our Discord. Currently, we offer over 12 different courses and we continually adding new professional programs to meet industry demands. But that's not all. Here's what else we offer. weekly videos that dive into different aspects of animation industry, free monthly masterclass live streams with a mentor, short tutorials across all our social media platforms, an active Discord community where you can connect to passionate creatives from around the world. If you like what you've heard so far, follow us on our social media and check out our courses on our website. I can't wait to see what you create with us.